time, but it'll be mine.
Oh, just the ordinances? Is that what this is?
Yeah, well, that's.
I do not. If somebody else,
You know, we
that's
get that for next year.
Don't do it.
I got somebody pending for us. I think goodness.
Keep it down. It's yeah, right.
Yep.
We'll call the meeting to order with the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll read the protocol of the meeting. I'll read it again, we did it last last time, you know. It said the following procedures are going to be adhered to. There'll be no over-talking from the board. If somebody wants to talk, to put their hands up and we'll recognize them, and so that ain't everybody talking at the same time. And no hand gestures either, like 3 minutes or 3 minutes like that. We don't need that no more. So there'll be no threatening or intimidating. We are all here, we should be working together, and that's what we'll try to do at this meeting. So it's that's what we want to try to follow. So says everybody was asked to abide by the meeting rules. No one else in the meeting is speak unless they're called to or got something to say. And identify yourself, whoever's talking, just so we know who's talking. So I don't think that's too much to ask, okay? Okay. Public comments? Anybody got a public comment?
You want to go out there?
Yeah, I'll go up there. No, that's okay. So I just like to take a couple minutes to introduce myself. My name is Darren Kudwa. I'm one of the candidates running for sheriff of Menominee County. Currently a detective sergeant with the city police. I got 16 years of law enforcement experience. I'm also an instructor for our department. I'm a firearms instructor. I'm an active shooter instructor. And I teach tactical scenarios on our range. An example of that would be like felony stops, responding to domestic disturbances, like those type of scenarios I teach on our range. And I also am an instructor for low light, no light. What that is how to search with a flashlight so you don't get hurt. I've attended numerous trainings throughout my career, ranging from SWAT school to advanced SWAT school, homicide school, radar school, and some narcotics schools. I've held different positions throughout my career. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I've held different positions throughout my career as a law enforcement officer. The first 5 years I spent on patrol, working the road, answering calls, fire calls, EMS calls, dispatch complaints. What I really like to do when I worked in the city was I like to look for the narcotic traffickers, people running drugs through town. That was my main goal. When I worked the road, I really enjoyed to do that when I had some time, which led to my next 5 years, where I was assigned to the Upper Peninsula Substance Enforcement Team, known as UPSET. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I spent 5 years working undercover on UPSET, and my county was Menominee County. So I did narcotics investigations from this town. I did drug deals in this town, all the way to the city of Menominee. So I did a lot of narcotics investigations throughout Menominee County. Throughout that time, I created a big network, stuff I still rely on today, agents that work for the FBI, DEA, Homeland Security, Bureau of Indian Affairs. I worked with them in Hannibal. Currently, I have 2 federal cases going right now. One's with the FBI out in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's an internet crimes case. And the other one's the skimming case, the ATM skimming case from Peninsula Federal Credit Union. Are you familiar with that? Okay. That's one of my cases. I'm working with Escanaba Public Safety and agents from Homeland Security to get those guys, apprehend that crew. It's an organized crew. You know, it's an organized unit, financial unit is what it is. They got about $160,000 in about an hour and a half. So it's a real serious operation that they run. After my time on Upset was concluded, I went back to work the road for about a year in uniform, and then in November of 2019, I was assigned the detective sergeant position that I hold today. And the first case that I got was the Brian Helford investigation. Okay. So myself and Jason McGee, he was the other detective at the time, we started that investigation from the original complainant to where it stands today. Brian's taken 2 guilty pleas, and 1 he was convicted in a jury. He's currently serving 9 to 15 years. He's in the Marquette Branch Prison. Jason and I overcame a lot of hurdles and a lot of obstacles during that investigation. We did not quit. We kept pursuing Mr. Helfer, and that's why he's in prison today, because we were part of the team that put him there. I'm very proud of that case. You're welcome. I'm very proud of that case, and we can still pursue victims still if we don't know about them. So it's still an open case if there are still more victims that want to come forward. Some of my duties as a detective sergeant would be investigating major crimes. I'm part of the day-to-day operations. I manage our evidence room, all the property coming in and out. I manage that, make sure it gets to the lab. I prepare search warrants. I review our reports before they go to the prosecutor's office. I review our accident reports. And I've also done a lot of civil forfeitures, meaning if we take stuff from a drug dealer, he's got a bunch of money, no job, no source of income, we'll forfeit that money. He has an opportunity to have a hearing over it. And then if we win that hearing, we'll use that money to buy equipment or stuff that law enforcement needs. So I'm real familiar with that process. I've done quite a few of those. And I've also been a part of a lot of like tactical raids where you see on TV, you line up on the door, you know, get these drug dealers. So part of some of my agendas I want to address, I want to work closely with community leaders, residents, and all law enforcement agencies to fight this drug problem. We got 2 major highways that run through Menominee County. You don't have to go for it, you just got to go to Green Bay. My time on the drug team, I spent a lot of time working with Wisconsin agencies, because a lot of the drugs are just in Green Bay, and all they got to do is drive them. They disperse throughout the western part of the UP, and they all come through Menominee County. So an interdiction team, a small interdiction team, would be very beneficial to this county, working with other agencies in the area. I want to create new procedures to better utilize local resources. I learned this at the Resolute fire down in Menominee, the big fire they had. When fire departments have a lot of operational plans in place already. Example would be grid searches for missing people. Stuff like that. I want to make sure we're using local resources. You guys know the area better than anybody else, so let's make sure we tap into those resources that are already here. I'm going to resolve issues with staffing. The mental health crisis will be something you're going to have to address. I want to be involved with the procedures that go on with that. I could talk for 2 hours on that if that's not this time or place for that. And I want to implement additional training to best meet national standards and best practices. My big thing is training and equipment, okay? And that training needs to meet the national standard and best practice. I told you I was an active shooter instructor and a firearms instructor. So the first time I went to active shooter instructor school was 13 years ago. The last one I went to was about 2 years ago. A lot changed during that time, and we had to change our trainings to meet that. I've trained probably about 2,000 people over the last 2 years in active shooter response between local businesses that have reached out and wanted it, and then all the Menominee area public schools are now trained in what's called the ALICE curriculum. It just stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Color, and Evacuate. And I want to make sure all schools meet the national standard best practice for their active shooter response. And I want to make sure all the officers are training together for a critical incident like that. So those are the type of things that you can expect from me from training. And equipment-wise, if I supply an officer with a piece of equipment, I'm going to make sure he knows how to use it. Like a shield. You know, if you give a guy a shield, he better know how to use it. How do you reload your gun? you're carrying a shield? How do you search your own corners with it? How do you do some of that stuff? Right? If I don't train you with it, it's just gonna sit in the car, you're not gonna know how to use it. So if I provide something, I'm gonna provide training for it. Training and equipment are big things for me, okay? I'm gonna be a working sheriff. You're gonna see me, I'm gonna be involved in the community. I live in Menominee. I'm gonna stay in Menominee. I'm not going anywhere else. I have 2 cell phones. I've been carrying them around for almost 10 years now. I got email, text message, phone calls. If you need something, call me, get a hold of me. I'm approachable, and you'll see me out and about if elected sheriff. So, does anybody have any questions?
I guess you answered mine.
What's that?
Then you'd be available.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is, you know, we live on a very far end of Menominee County.
Yeah.
And so clearly servicing this part of the county has been an issue in the past. Even, you know, hitting a deer. I've called there and said, yeah, we don't have anybody available. And so, so understand that's probably something that I'm interested in personally, is being location-wise, the visibility and having the options to be able to connect with you folks, given where our location is. Menominee County's a big county.
It's huge.
So it is.
I've been on
A lot of
tour.
territory, a lot of
Yeah.
territory. So
Yeah.
understand, just being
Yeah.
by location where we're at, it's really important to us from this county, is that we have those same services that maybe Menominee does as well.
Right. And I've heard that from other townships.
I bet, yeah.
That have been
Yeah.
out here. That's been a concern. And at times, you know, they're short-staffed at times.
Sure.
I know we are in the city, we're short-staffed at times. And I can speak in the city, how many guys do you think we have working on a normal day? Like during a day shift, how many guys do you think we got patrolling the city?
4.
4? Anybody else?
2.
2. 3. That's it. That's traffic, responding to calls, that's all we have. And I know, and that's what I'm talking about with
Yeah.
staffing.
Yeah, that's good to know, that's good information to know.
We have to address that issue.
Is that because of budget or
It could be, I don't know what their budget is at the sheriff's department, haven't been in there.
availability of?
Some of it could be that, you know, some of my ideas are, it's hard to find, so let's start something in the schools. Let's find some of our younger people that are interested in this, and maybe we can get them in the correction side of things first before we stick them on the road in the dangerous area, see what we got, and then we could move them onto the road, put them in an academy, stuff like that. You know, I think that would be valuable.
I have a question.
Sure.
I've asked another person who was running too. So everyone's paying tax dollars for this 24-hour rural patrol. But we're paying for cops to sit at the scale shack down in Powers. Would you try and do something else for them so they're not sitting there?
Are they sitting there like running
All the time.
radar, or what, is it like sheriff's
is
or
there-
state, or what is it?
Both.
Well, I think the state, I think,
Yeah,
oh,
I
they're
think
just
that's
talking,
it.
okay.
Misconception.
So I think the state puts people there for weighing, right, weighing some
Yeah.
of the vehicles.
There's some
During the day.
During the day. Yeah, I guess I'm not aware of if they're sitting there, but yeah, I would want people out and about and
Okay.
actively being involved in the community. Like, I would want the deputies, I think you have a deputy in Hermansville right now, right, that lives in town here?
Yeah. Connor McGinley.
Right, so I would want people to get to know the deputies that live in the area and guys that come to patrol here and ask them, stop in businesses and get to
Make
know
yourself
people,
known.
make yourself known, yeah.
I live in Spalding, and not part of this, our Hermansville here, but I have people that go through there like 60 miles an hour, it's 25 for residential.
Yeah.
I've called and complained about them multiple times, you know. I know that they can't sit there, but honestly, you sit there for like an hour, you probably catch like 3 or 4.
So I've heard a lot of this throughout, you know, I kind of call it, I've been going on tour a little bit here
Yeah.
since this election year. And I've heard a lot about the speeding stuff. I've even heard about it in the city.
Yeah.
You know, so one thing, like I said, I'll be a working sheriff. My
Uh,
plan is to be in the car and stop, you know, M35 is a racetrack. I get a lot of complaints on that. So my plan is to, myself, I have someone that's gonna be an undersheriff already. You know, that's been a vacant spot down there for a long time. They haven't been able to fill that spot for whatever reasons. I have someone that's a 22-year veteran that's gonna come in and take that spot if I'm elected. So you're gonna get two guys right off the bat. And I'm gonna urge him and myself, we're both gonna be out, I'm gonna do some patrol stuff here. And I'm gonna stop some cars. So if there's issues like that, I'm available. If there's a speeding issue in the town, let me know. I won't know unless you tell me. You
Are you planning on keeping the same people that are working now under the current sheriff?
Yeah, I would, yeah, I'm not gonna fire anybody here.
Biggest problem with Mike is you never see him.
Yeah, I've heard
The
that.
last time I seen him was when he was running 4 years ago when he was at our parade.
Never seen him at all.
Huh?
Never seen him at all, to be honest.
No, it's one time in 4 years.
Yeah, I seen him when he picked up his signs out of my yard, that was the last time I
That's
seen
it.
him.
Yeah.
And that's it, it's a big county, and I get that, I really do, but, and I recognize you guys are running short, but there's a servicing area.
Yeah.
And so, understand, when we're on the fringe, you
Yeah.
don't necessarily feel that service.
Yeah. No, I grew up in a small town too, and I understand, you know, I grew up in Crystal Falls, so I understand we had a small town area too, and there was issues like that, and you didn't see law enforcement, but, no, I understand what you go through with that, but.
But I mean, regardless of people thinking Kenny Marks, you always seen Kenny Marks.
Right.
Here, Bowers, everywhere.
And that's what I'm gonna be in terms of like how Kenny was available like that, that's what I'm gonna be. Right now, I'm in the city, so I go to local businesses, I pop in, I say hi, I do that stuff as part of, I don't do it every day, right? I got things I have to do too, but I also like public relations. I think it's important for a police officer in these communities to have good public relations with people. And this is a great group. This is one of the bigger groups I've seen it. I've been almost all at the township.
As an outsider, do you feel that there's changes that you want to make
Yeah.
in the current
Yeah.
way that things are run?
Yes. Yes. Big thing would be training and equipment, training stuff. You can't lag on that. If you lag on that stuff and you're not doing it, you're just setting, not only not providing the officers, they could get hurt doing their job. The residents too, the people. You see a lot of the stuff on TV now with officers that are in bad situations and they wind up in the spotlight. Some of that just has to do with training. They probably didn't know what to do. They probably were never taught some of this stuff.
But even protecting our towns, our small towns, you know, it's a lot of bullshit that goes on.
Yeah.
You know, never in my life did I ever think that I would ever have to install security cameras at my house. I lived here all my life,
Right.
you know, and now they're there.
And a lot of that has to do with the drug problem in the county too. You know, there's a big drug problem in this county.
Well, yeah, it seems like there's drugs, but there's other issues that happen too that need to be addressed when they happen. I think, you know, policy or whatever.
Yeah. What do you talk, what do you?
Well, just, you know, a lot of vandalism, stuff like that.
Yeah, the kid stuff.
Some of it,
Yeah.
Some adult stuff.
you know,
Adults.
Yeah, oh yeah. Why would you
and
take a
it's
house
just
with
a,
an
just
adult?
a
Why would
concern,
you
you
do
know.
that?
Yeah. Yeah, we get that in the city, but that's mostly like kids. You know, like there's
Yeah,
fees
it's
and
adults.
I don't see much of those, but. Yeah.
But
No,
very nice to meet you, thank you for showing.
yeah, no, I appreciate it, so. I
Thank you.
got a few cards here, I'll just set them down.
I'll take one.
The little QR code on the bottom will get you to a Facebook page I have. And I got some content on there. If you're interested, you can follow, message me, however it is. Do you want me to grab more? I got more in my truck. I didn't realize there'd be.
Yeah, well, you
I'll
got-
go grab a bunch more. I didn't realize it'd be this big of a group. That's kind of cool. I like it.
You thought
Thank
there's
you.
gonna be 3, right?
Well, sometimes there is, yeah, but I like this. This is good. If you guys are all taking interest.
Got a good audience.
Okay, any,
Assessor's time? Sure, go ahead. Okay, sure. So, I guess I'll stand up since I'm in the back here. Good evening, everybody. I think I haven't been in Township, at least in front of the board here, for, maybe it was April, I think I was last here. So I always want to try and stop by at least quarterly. So it's kind of around that time I should be stopping by and just updating y'all on some things. The most recent July board review happened last month. It was fairly uneventful. I even saw we were still being recorded. I guess any public meeting is being recorded, right? I happened to go on the webpage and like, oh, there we are. We had one petition to handle. It was something pretty simple, an oversight. I think it was a retired parcel that, well, it was supposed to be retired and it wasn't. We split it, and then I saw the retired one was still on, and I talked to the taxpayer and got it all taken care of, so that was squared away. A pretty minor issue. I also want to mention that I appreciate the board allowing me to update the website with the essential assessing information. One of the changes that was implemented by the state, I believe it's been 2 years now, maybe 3, is they want to have more assessing information. It says it has to be, I forget the exact term, it's like available online. So to me, I mean, if you email me, I can email you back, that's online availability. Well, not for them, it has to be on a web page of some kind. So that's been put up now, we've got our land values and ECF data up there. Also, there's information about how to contact me. There's also other information about, extra information that I don't have to post, such as stuff about exemptions of various kinds and things like that. So hopefully it's very, very useful and informative. And it's there. It's on the township webpage. There's an assessing tab, I think, or something like that. So that's where you can find that. So I greatly appreciate the board allowing me to do that. We've been pretty busy the past month and a half, I'd say, or 2 months, doing the 20% inspections. So I haven't hit Meyer Township just yet. I plan to start actually maybe next week or the week after. But we've done 20% inspections in 3 townships now, hitting about 450, 500 parcels across 3 townships, so still got plenty more to do. We're about halfway done, basically. And so what that entails is, it's called a 20% inspection because we're not mandated, it's a recommendation from the state that we inspect 20% of the parcels in a township every year. So that way, by year 5, and then year 6, we roll around and start over, basically, okay? So, like I said, next week or the week after, it depends on weather and things like that too. We'll be coming out to Meyer Township, probably on the Vega Road mainly, running that stretch, and some of the offshoots going off that road, okay? And a few on US 2 as well. It's really based on section numbers, okay? And those are all kind of a section that we can run just off of that main road, okay? So, if you see us, I got a white truck, and my wife suggested to me, and I did. I purchased some those magnetic stickers for the side, so you see it says Township Assessor. So you can always talk with me if you have any questions. We're mainly just going out there, and of course, I've got the record card with me on the computer, and I can see what do we have in the database, and what am I looking at? You know, is everything accounted for or not? You know, in some cases, people have new structure they put up that we didn't know about. Right? Or in some cases, for whatever reason, whether it was the previous assessor or even before that, sometimes we found older stuff that for whatever reason just wasn't on the card before. And regardless, we need to add it, okay? Because of course it's unfair if somebody's being taxed on their concrete drive and somebody else isn't, right? So I'm checking for those types of things because we want it to be fair for everybody. And that's the purpose, really, okay? Let's see.
Well, you're not allowed on 43 Road.
Oh, yeah? Is that one of the offshoots? It sounds familiar, yeah. What else? Oh, I did see, you might have seen also the county vehicle around. They drive, I think it's a black or dark gray vehicle. I remember seeing it last summer. They had told us starting July 22nd, so it's been about a month now, that they were going to be out into the townships doing their surveys and studies and things like that. So I know I've actually talked with 2 different taxpayers, one in Mellon Township and one in, I think it was in Faithorn, that asked me, hey, weren't you guys just here a few days ago? Or one said, weren't you here this morning? I was like, no, that must have been the county in that case. So they do a more randomized look at the parcels, just to kind of check what we're doing, but also for their own records, okay? So you may notice them as well.
Is that the equalization department?
Yes, that's the equalization department.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been out since July 22nd, and I know they said that they were going to just be still in the office somewhat, but in a more limited capacity, and they've done that in the past. But with that said, Even though we're out, we're still trying to handle all the phone calls and emails and things like that. It's been a busy season, of course, in the summer, not only doing all that work, but in the office, we get a lot of requests from taxpayers. You gotta change my address and things like that for the tax bills, so we get notices, usually from the treasurers, about that kind of information, because they get the request to change and they forward it to us. So. One last note I think is important to mention is related with the website. Part of the reason we need to have that information online, not just a state requirement, but also because in 2025, next year, we have our own audit happening, the assessing audit in the township. They go county by county, and so next year it's going to be Menominee County. And so I service 3 units in Menominee County, Meyer Township being one of them. And so that data is required also as part of that audit to be online. Okay. We just finished the audit in Dickinson County. We also work in Norway Township. It was a lot of work to prepare for the audit. A lot of stuff, different requirements that had to be fulfilled. But the good news as far as it was that we got a perfect score. We're very proud of that. And so with those learnings, we can bring that to this township and others afterwards. So that's what I plan to do, and hopefully we can have a perfect score here as well. That's the plan. Okay. So that's my update. Any questions? Yeah.
In regards to your new magnetic signs,
Yeah.
they also say, please don't shoot.
That's the first thing I thought of, you just put a target on his car.
Yeah, right. No, but hopefully nobody does. Yes. I'm always, actually it's funny, we were in, up in Gladstone, north of Gladstone is a township we service, Brampton Township. And it was the first township I'd heard of where the treasurer got 3 phone calls that day, and they were all kind of worried, like, what are you guys doing here? And the treasurer, it wasn't me, it was the assessor, and they're just doing their job as we want them to do. But I had the stickers on and everything, and we always knock on the door and ring the bell. We don't just walk around the building. We always at least knock. Now, if your doorbell doesn't work and you don't hear my knock, you know, I can't do any more than that, right? But I try and give a chance to let the taxpayer know what we're doing there before we start looking around. Okay, so, you know, try to be friendly, you know, please say hi, and, you know, we can answer any questions you might have too.
Thanks for that.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Brent.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
That's your key.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. I'll give you a call and we'll put that sign up there. Okay. All right, or you give me a call, either one. Okay. All right.
Appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
See you
Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Thanks,
meet you
sir.
guys.
Thank you all.
Bye, Brent.
So the only thing, Barb Parrott called about, not having the BSNA set up for the taxes, did you do that?
I did that last year.
Well, I do it all the time now when they pay the taxes, I
Yeah.
think. Anyway,
You
she
mean the online thing where you just go over
yeah,
the-
yeah,
Yeah, I would say so.
yeah.
Remember when we went to last year?
It's set up, but she didn't get no information this year on that. As far as
I'll call BSNA and see if I got it.
Yeah.
The 20, Cheryl,
Public comment.
We're still on public comment, right? Right, we're still on public comment.
Cheryl,
Yeah.
the 2024 tax information needs to be uploaded.
Yeah,
That's what she was asking.
right, but BSA should have did that when I called them last year. It's supposed to go every year. You know what I mean, once you're online, from what I understood.
Well, she said it was a simple process.
Yeah,
We
I'll
just-
call BSNA on Friday.
She had a title company contacting her, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Public comment, Ms. Deneary, right, taxpayer of Meyer Township. I do want to say thank you very much. Received some information that I requested through the Freedom of Information Act. What I requested was though January 2023 to present of July 2024 of
you
Menard invoices. No, that's the actual
sorry.
email I've got here, so
Okay,
I can show
I
everybody.
just read it 2023, I
So it
apologize.
says right here, dear custodians of records, the whole works. So I did not receive the 2024, and I'm just requesting
Okay. You'll have
reasons
that
why that
updated
did not
later.
happen, so.
I just read 2023, I apologize.
Nope, it says, starting date of January 2023 to present July 2024.
I'll get that to you.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that, thank you for supplying that information. Both of you.
Anybody else got a public comment?
Yeah.
Wait, Rita.
Yes, I'm Rita Dugree. Thank you for listening to me. The last meeting we had, Chad came outside and said I had to come in here because the petitions weren't done right. And I ended up having to take Travis's to go around and get it redone because you have can't have the same people on there for a petition. But he came out and said that he had talked to Mark Kleiman. And in fact, the next morning I contacted Mark Kleiman and he in fact said that he never called him. So, and I told Chad that morning when I spoke with him that he did not speak with him. So he had no business telling me that he had spoke with Mark Kleiman because he in fact didn't. And also, you had told us outside that we were supposed to drop our petitions off with Barb Peters, which in fact you can't drop them off with Barb Peters because she is not the person to do it, it's you.
Right.
And also, if you can't do it, then you're supposed to provide that your deputy does it.
And my deputy was at electric training that day, so
Yes.
I came all the way back from Marquette to take care of your guys' stuff that day.
We
That's
wouldn't have
right,
known
you
that,
did,
though.
but
Yeah.
we would not have known that. We would
Yeah.
have left it with Barb and they'd have been void. So I just want everybody to be aware that he in fact did say that he had talked to Mark. In fact, he had not spoken to Mark. So just so you are aware of this. I spoke with a couple other people about this and they were not happy as well. So, I guess that's what I'm gonna leave it at, and that's,
Thank you.
I think.
Vicky, you got something?
Old business, yeah. Did they get paid for the mattresses?
Well, wait
at
till
all?
we get to the old
Yes.
business.
The
Okay.
check came in today.
All right. And then one thing for Chad. Back in the spring, you had said that you were no longer going to do the supervisor's job for him or babysit for him, yet the minutes don't go out on time. They were in the post office yesterday, the meeting is today. I just was wondering what was the delay in the minutes? Just a question. Why do they wait right to the last minute to get them out? Because
That
I
was-
think the MTA requires,
The MTA is not, well,
How many days are taken out?
yeah, so many days.
yeah.
I thought there's only one person talking right now.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're right. But there is, I think, there is a rule, right? Or a
Yeah, about 10 days or something, I think.
8 business days after
Yeah.
the last meeting, not like 1 month, or short of 1 month. And I was just wondering why that was. Just a question, I'm not,
That was the soonest I could get to him, Keithy. I'm a busy person.
yeah, well, so is everybody else that has a job on the board, and I understand that. But if you can't do it, then, I wouldn't take on something that I couldn't do. And it just, I guess, last month, the same thing, the month before that, the same thing. So we all work, I'm still working, but I couldn't take on something that would be beyond me or what I couldn't do. But I was just asking the question. Thanks for the answer.
Anybody else got a question or any public comment? Okay, we'll move on. So we got any other additions to the agenda?
Yep, we have another parcel reconfiguration application. That's it.
So are we gonna do it?
We'll do it under,
When?
add it to action items.
Okay. So, okay, bills. That would be, so I'll put everybody approved the last agenda items.
I'll motion to approve the agenda.
Sounds,
I'll second that.
Everybody say aye.
aye.
Motion carried. Okay, bills.
Did you get it done for, did you see that one that Jason has sent in for Bob Hanchett? No. For some spray? Should have been on that email. He just asked me about it today because he didn't see it.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay. We'll have to check
How
that.
much for the sewer pond?
Yeah.
Spray the lighter.
Just spray it, yeah. Yeah,
Everybody,
I make a motion, we accept the bills.
okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And minutes? Make a motion to approve the minutes
I'll second that.
and the treasurer's report as filed. Everybody have a chance to go over that?
Yep.
Okay, we go to old business, the credit cards.
I had talked to the credit union and the bank, and they both suggest that for the credit card part of it, we wait till the new officers take in because there's the paperwork. If we do it now, they have to do the paperwork and then change it in a couple months. They did suggest that we could do a debit card for like the large purchases, like the QuickBooks and that. They could raise the limit for that day and bring it back down so that it's protected. And there's a thing online where you can turn on and off the debit card. You know, so if we're worried about fraud in that, then it'll take care of it. Or a prepaid card.
Or else you can get a little device too that takes those credit cards.
No, this
A
is
debit
different.
card.
This is different.
Huh?
This is
Yeah,
different.
but-
You wanted a credit card
Credit
so
card,
that to make
right.
purchases.
But the sewer guy, he wants to pay with a debit card. He'll pay his bill. Did he pay any on it yet? But he said he got a debit card. I don't think it costs that much for that little receiver.
Yeah, I don't know anything
You know,
about that.
I'm able to take payments through QuickBooks within minutes, you
Yeah.
know? When it comes out the credit card, you get paid within 12 hours, 24 hours at
So
latest.
that's how he
Yeah.
wants to pay his sewer bill, so, if he gets a sewer bill paid, so let's look into it, or I could look into it and get it set up if you want me to,
Yeah, that's,
you know?
but I'm just talking about the credit card that you guys
Right.
wanted me to look into.
Yeah. Well, that.
How many months
So
is
that
left
is
of
totally
this
up, whatever you guys wanna do.
can be approved within less than
I
30
would
days
say
and have
get
a
the
credit
card.
card in hand.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not saying we wouldn't be, we can't be approved, I'm saying the paperwork part of it. It's, it's,
It'll be done for the township. I would get it done right away and, you know,
I don't want mine in.
huh?
I don't want mine in.
When I look at the invoices, these are the people who are buying shit, that's who needs the credit cards.
We don't buy shit, we buy stuff at.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes,
Yeah.
who buy things. Those are people who need the credit cards. The gas purchasers, the Menards purchasers, those are the people. Nobody now wants a credit card all of
I
a
never
sudden
did
when we
want a credit card.
identify who actually should be having one and holding it.
Right. So whoever got it, they know who, we know who got it. I mean, if you get one or two, I think we should get it right away and get it started and get it done. So we know, because there's a lot of invoices that don't match up and, you know.
Like the one for the wire that's sitting on there for $300 some. Why wasn't that wire brought back?
There's more than $300 dollars spent foolishly or misplaced or did something.
Everything I get, my
Yeah.
name is on there and where it goes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's up to you guys, you know.
Accountability, it's called accountability.
We don't
It
have that.
needs to
yet.
start happening.
What?
I think what the board needs to remember is that yous represent us, and
Yeah.
we go through what, you should be going through what we're requesting. And I think the card would be a good idea. Whether it isn't you doing the paperwork or me doing the paperwork, it's somebody that gets paid to do the paperwork.
It's the paper
To do
trail
it.
that's there. That would help
That's
us
got
in this
nothing to do
audit.
with
It would
us.
help
I
us
told
in
him I
this
would come
audit.
back and give what I
Yeah,
found
3
out.
months to wait for the new board.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, no,
We're
no,
happy
no,
to
just-
be there.
no public
That's
comment. We can
regardless.
argue.
It's regardless.
Just
It's up to the board. If the board don't want it,
Yeah, just
That's what it is.
Put our names on it.
you know,
It shouldn't be up to us. They represent us.
so if you don't want to do it, you don't do it, you know? But I think it's crazy not to get it started so we got a paper trail because they're gonna watch us like a hawk,
And they should.
or the new board. So you better get ready for the fireworks because it's coming, you know? But that's up to you.
I will get one.
Make a motion.
Well, I make a motion to get the credit card started and so that people can pay with their debit card. They could pay their
That's a
taxes.
totally different.
Yeah,
I
issue.
understand that. I understand
But
that.
we're talking about the credit card.
Right, I know, so,
That is, looks like it's gonna be on the, you got it on here. Number 4.
I'll second Ray's motion.
Thank you, Jeff.
what do you vote? If you don't want it,
All in
just sit there,
favor? Aye. Aye.
you know? Okay, the next would be the sewer guy wants to pay, but he pays with a debit card and I don't know how you could take it if you ain't got the receiver that takes it.
Yeah, but he can go get cash for his debit card or his credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we have to
You know,
change our
why
entire
do we have to
process from
change
one
for
person?
him?
Well, maybe other people would pay with their debit card too, once they know we can take it. We can pay with
Well,
it.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that you're right that they probably
Yeah.
would, but
You don't really need the reader to take the debit card. I don't have a reader and I literally type it in just on QuickBooks and it accepts the payment. So the reader's really not necessary. You know, I mean, it would be helpful. don't get me
there
wrong.
is usually fees involved.
Brooks,
Yeah, what's
Uh,
Hey Brooks, how hard would it be to
10%?
set that up?
I'm taking a look
Or
right now.
3%.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's what there's fees in
You know,
it.
but that should be rolled onto the customer.
No, we're.
I mean, I'm in favor of setting that up. I think that would be fine.
I mean,
And I
if
think,
that's
and I
what people
think
want
if
to
they're
pay
gonna use
with.
your card, because you're gonna get charged that.
We're not,
That's up to the
let's
customer.
leave it.
Yeah, that's put on.
I
the
mean,
customer.
if we could set up a page on the website where people could pay their sewer bill on there if they wanted to, I think that's great.
Save a lot of
That'd be huge.
paperwork, a lot of time.
That would save the clerk a lot of time.
Yeah, but then I would add the 3.5 because
Yeah.
you'll be paying.
No, you put it on the customer. You
Yeah.
don't have to, you don't have to
Yeah.
absorb that,
That's
the
up to-
customer does.
So
That's
that's
your
your,
choice of payment, that goes on the customer.
that's your choice, come in with cash or pay on a card or online.
But I'd be willing to make a $5 side bet with anybody that
He won't pay
he
it.
still won't pay. That's the side bet that
Well,
I'll.
yeah, well, that's not the.
But anyway,
A lot of
we can do it with a credit
conversations.
card then. Let's pay with a credit card.
Willie?
The gentleman indicated that he has been trying to get a call back from Cheryl or Chad, very frustrated because he hasn't heard anything. I told him we could do nothing with the debit card. I'm willing to talk with him, he could go to the bank or whatever, but I think it's a fabulous idea to get it set up. So if individuals want to pay online, I think you're going to find a lot of people that's going to jump at that opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's a fine idea. I've got no problem with that.
No.
Yeah, we gotta get it set up so that, we gotta get modern because,
Yeah.
you know, everybody says, oh, this audit is nothing, but it's something. It's something, you know, and what you have this done so the next board don't have to monkey with it. We never did nothing for this whole year. From last July to this July, we were talking about, mailboxes being knocked down, cars damaged, just our car, Willie's car damaged, my car scratched, and stuff like that. That's all cost the township a lot of money, and we didn't do nothing.
Next
We shouldn't
item.
even get a paycheck, believe it or not,
Next item.
you know?
Garage repair.
Let's go on. So, is she gonna set up the, debit card
Brooks
and
is
pay
gonna-
bill? Yeah, all right, so check that. The well permit, I got,
Garage repair.
You're
Huh?
skipping the garage.
Garage
oh, the
repair.
garage repair. He's working on the garage right now. So, he run into a little trouble up there, it's the steel trusses in there, so he said there'd be a little extra, probably for the, I don't know, 2x6s or something that he got to put in, but I don't think it's gonna be very much. I told him I'd just tell the board, but he's working on it, it should be done next week.
Heavier fasteners or is he gonna?
What?
Lumber screws.
Oh, I thought it was something. Okay, the well permit is faxed into the guy, so I'm just waiting for him to give us a call. I called him this morning and asked him if he wanted something down, but he never called me back, so. But he probably will tomorrow. The next bill is, IAT billing, questioning the attorney. What did you find out?
I called him and he said or anything that he sent to us is in regards to the audit. So he said he's been reviewing documents over everything with the audit pretty much. And I asked him if a deed preparation for Jamie Malone had get brought to his attention yet, and he said no.
He's got that on the bottom.
So hopefully we get that taken care of, but that's what his explanation is for it, so I guess that's what we go with.
So you're keeping up on them?
Oh yeah, I will.
So, that was a joke. But anyway, the audit, they're gonna, the new thing is that it's gonna might be 100, what was it? 100,000 to 125 million with all this extra stuff?
If you look at, there is a copy of the prices that's over here on the table, the board, of the new agreement. It's looking upwards of approximately $130,000 now.
For what reason?
For Meyer Township, it's
Yeah.
gonna be paying $130,000.
What they are indicating, they have begun to look at some of the materials that are coming in. They are indicating, first of all, there is going to be a $10,000 charge to update the system, and that's for the uniform chart of accounts, because those numbers have to be used. And those numbers came in the 1st of June, and they're also looking at the amount of work that they're anticipating having to do with sorting the information out that's come through, determining whether or not everything is there. They said it's not like a regular audit because things have not been line items journaled out. so on and so forth. The state is also requesting bi-weekly meetings with the township in the state of Michigan, the Department of Treasury. Because they're needing to, if we're going to obtain this grant, they're needing to make sure that we are indeed going to be on track with the appropriate accounting procedures going forward. And they said that the initial retaining invoice for the project will be submitted as soon as the signed engagement letter is received and Treasury has approved the project. That retainer, of course, has to be paid before the services are to commence. Now, the other thing that they had indicated is they're now looking at, after reviewing some of the information that's come in, they have now made the determination they're going to have to hire additional employees in order to be able to group this stuff, however you say it. I'm not sure I'm using the right terminology in this day, but they need to be able to get this stuff pulled together. They also indicated, of course, and it would come with an additional cost if any of our financial people wanted to be trained in any kind of accounting processes. But they are still working on the grant, and it looks very, very good for the potential of coming through.
So will the grant cover this astronomical?
No, not necessarily. We're not sure how much for sure that the grant will be, but whatever we get, I'm gonna say thank you.
Yeah, so is all the information in that they needed? I don't think it is yet.
We got one more year.
Because I got it on my computer, there are 3 more things that in, and this has been going on since we started this, May the 5th.
Yeah, since March,
You know,
actually.
so the longer it takes, the longer it costs, you know? Went from $55,000 to $75,000. That's a road and a half we could have got done. If we have to pay it ourselves, that's it.
What is the other option?
There is no option.
There
This
is
is
no
getting
other
sold.
option. This is our best case scenario. That was one of their concerns also when I spoke with Rod, is the fact that we've been so slow in submitting the information that they've requested.
You was got a deputy, you should have your deputy help you out if anything, you know, and they get paid for it. Willie, if it wasn't for Willie, we'd have the state in here doing this here
The
work.
state's already here, Ray.
I know, but that's, okay. So any questions on the board here? You guys want to know anything about it?
When are these bi-weekly meetings gonna start? And is it gonna be by Zoom? How's that gonna go?
They didn't indicate that. If you read page 5 of your report,
I've got it here.
okay, you're going to see up there where it says UCA update, $10,000. Number
Yeah.
3 is the bi-weekly meetings with the township and the state of Michigan Department of Treasury. So I am going to go out on a limb and assume here that those bi-weekly meetings most likely would not start until we receive confirmation on the grant.
Oh,
Because if they're not going to be involved, they're not gonna give us any money, they're not gonna be involved. And I ain't making cookies here.
Okay, the next thing is timesheets. I asked for them several times, but I never did get them for the people. Are you checking them over ever? Yeah?
Say that again, Ray, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that back there. Timesheets, you're not able to review them?
They never gave them to me. You know?
he can review whatever he wants.
I know, but where do I get them?
You know what I'm down here. You know what I'm working on this
Yeah.
stuff. You haven't been coming down the last few Fridays,
Yeah.
the last 2 pay periods. You can come down and look at whatever you want to.
Yeah, but I don't wanna go through your stuff, you know? You could put it right in my box, that's where they should go anyway, right? That's where you put my checks, or anything else for me, but you don't put the timesheets in there. Just so we can keep a track on what's going on. We never did that before, and it's gonna have to be done in the future, because Dale requested, you know? So, anyway, so if you put them in there, I got them. Then I don't have to catch you know? Because the last time when I asked you for some papers, you said you ain't getting a damn key for this office, and we went through that again, right? So, I don't want to come here and not argue. Okay, now, okay, the action items is copy of the EDC bylaws. Is that something that we gotta find, or?
They should be right in that filing cabinet, right in there.
Yeah.
As far as I know, that's where it should be, yeah, so the filing cabinet, EDC has it in there.
Yep.
Keep, what?
Is that public knowledge also, that EDC bylaws?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody can come down here at any time, if there's somebody in here and go through those?
Well, you have to ask, and we'll give you the key for that thing, you know? But I looked through them and I couldn't find them in there, but I don't know where they would be.
Mr. Gergel, could I speak to that?
Pardon?
There was an individual that requested a copy of the EDC bylaws, and he was advised by Mr. Sercha at the Board of Review, if he wanted a copy of those bylaws, he just needed to come see him.
Yeah.
So he did go to his home a couple of days later and asked for a copy, and Mr. Sercha informed him he didn't know where they were. So I guess we need to figure out where they're at, because by law, they are supposed to be here in the office. And certainly, if it's certified information, it should not be in anyone's personal possession.
And what Charlie was asking about that at the Board of Review, yeah.
Well, the person to call on that would be Darlene, if you had a question. She's the secretary of the board.
She is the secretary, yeah.
Well, Sercha said he had them.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't surprise me.
And they should be complete, right? There should
Yeah.
not be anything missing.
Yeah. Brooke, the IT guy.
Or revised.
It's just a new computer that was installed. That's all I got.
Thank you, Brooks.
You know what?
What was that?
Brooks.
New computer is installed.
Oh, okay.
Township ordinance to the attorney. This is here, right here, Chad.
Yeah,
You gave me
I've got
this
one here.
Yeah, you gave me one of these once before.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna give this to the attorney and see if he gets updated or what he has to do with that. Okay?
That's gonna incur a hell of a cost.
Huh?
If you want an attorney to rewrite an ordinance, that's not
No,
gonna be cheap.
I didn't say rewrite it. I said he already has to sign.
Where's your gavel?
So, no, well, next year, the zoning ordinances, if we don't get it, it's gonna be, run by Menominee County, will run it.
No, they won't.
So, if you don't wanna do this, this board, if you want Menominee County to do it, that's up to you. But the county, Menominee County will do it, but I'd rather do it ourselves. I'd rather have the county come in and tell us what to do, but, you know.
We have to have our own prosecuting attorney to do anything with this, just so you know.
You don't even know what you're
Yeah, I
talking
do.
about.
Here we go.
Then call the attorney.
So, you want me to give this to the attorney or not? If you do, if you don't, I won't do it. But the county's gonna do it next year. You got 1 year to do it. So I thought it'd be the best thing is just have them this one here is from,
And what's the dispute, why we wouldn't do it?
pardon?
Because the fees, right?
No, I'm saying we should, but we've contacted the attorney before, and Menominee County will not prosecute any ordinances. At all.
And they will not enforce any ordinances in your township. The cops will
So,
not.
we need to get our own prosecuting attorney, which they have one in the city of Kingsford, Iron Mountain, and Menominee all use the same one. So you have to hire your own prosecuting attorney to get anything done with this.
They will not.
That's what I was trying to say.
No.
Yes, you do.
Why do you think this ordinance you call the sheriff and they.
No, they will not, Bob, will they?
You know,
The sheriff won't do anything, the attorney can look at it
They
and
will
make
not
a
enforce any
determination as
ordinance.
whether it can be.
Been trying for
updated.
years.
well, then let's let it go and let Menominee County handle the zoning for Menominee Township. Is that what you want?
No,
If they were zoned, yes, then it would be
It's
different.
gonna be zoned. It's gotta be zoned by next year.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but we just gotta get our own prosecuting attorney. If that's the way we're gonna go, then we gotta go
I
that
think we
way.
need to check in with Brett, he might have some input on that also.
Yeah, well, that's why we got an attorney, you know? Your law office is open all the time?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there, there's my mailbox. Anytime, drop it off.
Okay.
Go ahead,
so-
have it done. If you want it done,
So
do it.
don't do nothing with this then, is that what you
Table
want?
it till next month and we'll get some more information on if they're gonna cover,
Have an understanding.
if the county's gonna, or the prosecuting attorney, he's not gonna, I know he's not gonna take it.
Get further clarification.
Right.
All right, so then we'll just. And the card read for a debit card, he can handle that, Brooks can handle that.
Yeah.
Brooke, you can handle that on PayPal or how you do it?
I don't know, I have to look into it, see what's the standard. I'm not sure what the standard is for townships, and government, payments, so. I don't, because, wait, if you do it through like a PayPal or something like that, they can overpay, and then they have no, like, they can't look up their record of what, what they owe. So I don't know exactly
And
the
if we can
procedure for
take
that yet.
payments through QuickBooks, that would be.
Yeah, you can. There is an option you can turn on an online function for that, but I've never done it, especially through the desktop version. I've done it through online version, but I don't know if they kind of commingle or not. So that's something I get.
Travis, do you got the online?
Yeah, I got the online one, it's super easy.
Is it?
Yeah, that's.
Because we got the desktop right now.
Yeah, it's super easy to really like.
But still.
Well, look into it, Brooks, and then for next month, see.
Basically, it'll be an invoice that you create for them and send it to them via email. And it'd only be to people that sign up for it. It wouldn't be just like a thing you click on. I mean, kind of like that, but not quite.
Yeah,
That's what I can find so far. It might change. We'll see.
Yeah, you'd have to have an invoice for it.
Okay, so we'll table that till the next meeting then, okay, so the deed for Malone, I'm gonna bring that to the attorney and, there's something that's what I wanted the EDC bylaws for.
Now,
So,
on that subject, I know we've got in writing that you gave to me and to us that Burkhart bill was wiped out, but they've billed us in July and this month for that $400 again.
well, we got the letter that you
yeah.
sent. Give it to me, I'll handle that again, you know? So, oh, maybe, here, you handle the attorney stuff? But anyway, I'll handle it. Okay, so anyway, the deed, that's what I wanted that EDC stuff for. So, that,
Let's
yeah.
do this. We have a parcel reconfiguration application for Sheila Pahalski out on the Snuff Box Road, which is Harbison's old place. So I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye, yeah, we gotta do that. That's what, 8 months?
21st, yeah, 8/21.
Just that one spot?
Yep.
Who's that guy, did he buy that property?
No, it's getting split up between the sister and the brother,
Oh,
or the son and the daughter.
yeah. Okay, the community club update?
The only thing this month is we had to have somebody come down and clean out the drain, the lateral in the women's bathroom. So That should have been on the bills this month.
Yeah, it wasn't on there.
But eventually it's gonna have to get dealt with, because it's every year. It's the
Who
same
did that,
issue.
Bren?
Jim's,
Johnny's drain clean.
yeah, Johnny's drain clean from Meyer Mountain.
Is that the men's toilet in there?
Yeah, they just had her done.
Because they don't use enough water every
Yeah.
day, and it doesn't,
Heat trap runs dry.
and it doesn't,
Should pay for
Fully.
200.
it don't push it out to the sewer.
They're so,
So little
the
flow.
rubber's hard to get, they don't even plunge anymore.
Yeah, no. No, that's all I got for that.
Okay, sewer department,
I got a call from the county today on the storm drain by Moya's. She's caving in. So I have Kralovitz is gonna look and see what it's gonna cost to replace it. It's all the old bricks falling in, so it's sinking in the ground. We gotta get it fixed. Before it falls in, somebody turns the corner and the tire drops through it. So Jason's looking on that. Other than that,
so the other thing on the park, you got something?
Were you able to talk to Snyder like we talked about the other day about dragging
I will
the
tomorrow.
infields?
We gotta do some water sampling over there, so I'm talking.
The park, we get the sewer as soon as he calls me and gives okay. But I've been getting complaints about those people that are out at the point. And I think if the well driller is out there, we should block that road off or something, so nobody goes in there and gets hurt by his equipment or something.
Yeah, they're supposed to be out there a couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that the same people that have been out there the entire summer?
They've been talked to 3 different times.
And they have no place to live right now, so.
Yeah, we don't have no. Yeah, well, we don't have no, we're gonna try to get it, so if there's 4 campers out there or something, that whoever's out there pays $10 or whatever it is to help pay for the park, you know? Okay, so, any more public comment?
Just so it's on record, I had talked to you, Ray, originally about getting Phil for Jamie Malone's project, and just want to make sure everything's still a go for that.
Yeah.
In the word.
Yeah.
I'll get up there. I mean, if you come in, just go towards the south,
Yep.
but you can still go a ways in that hill before you get to where we do our fireworks.
All right.
I'll try and get something up there so you'll know how far.
All right. I plan on attacking that probably next week or so here.
All right. I'll get some poles up there painted.
Or I'll be knocking that wall here.
All right.
What did you have?
No, that's,
I forgot.
Okay, this is going back to the sewer thing. I think the debit card's a good idea. Would it cover credit cards as well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because personally, the guy up there is pulling your chain. Just extending it out that much further.
It'd be a lot better for you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if that works for people, great.
And there'll be a lot of people that do.
Yeah. So I'm aghast to hear that it's been 5 years since I stood before 2 common denominators of this board, and we talked about the supervisor approving timesheets, and that's not happening. And I think you probably both can recall, or I can pull out my old minutes, that we talked about Bob Smith was a supervisor at that time, and it was agreed upon that that would happen. And that is not happening?
No, not yet.
The only worker we have really is Kralovitz. Well, Matt.
Well, we had all these, Mr. Malone, we had all these other
Oh, yeah,
folks
back.
who were
Yeah.
who was approving their timesheets.
He was in charge of them.
He actually got those timesheets at that time, was approving them?
Oh, I don't see the time sheets.
Cheryl, you're the treasurer, who was approving them?
Nobody, I don't think.
There should not be a treasurer's signature on there until somebody has approved and said, yes, I agree. And you can't disagree that I didn't stand before this board and say 5 years ago, Bob Smith was in charge and said, no, wait a minute. This has to be approved by somebody other than the treasurer. The supervisor has to look at these timesheets.
I'm not
And
the only one that signs the check.
we're here at this point in time and that still isn't happening?
No.
That's a disgrace.
I had put the camera in there,
And you'll see that the time slips go right there. I sign it for the
No, no.
employee upstairs, that goes right there. All you gotta do is grab it and look.
yeah, well, he put the cameras in
There
there
every week.
to see if anybody was cheating on his time, and so far you never found nobody cheating. Did you ever look at him?
Yes, I do.
I don't think you did.
Alright.
But
Oh,
anyway,
yeah, exactly.
Start more drama when
But
it's right this
anyway,
way.
That's all he does.
anybody else got anything to say? Thank you for that, Missy. Yeah.
Listen, this day and age.
And I've
it's a
been
fact,
talking
it's
to
a
him
fact.
blue in the face.
It was an issue 5 years ago.
Yeah, but the last workers were, you were in charge of all of them, so you should have been, because you wanted nobody else telling them what to do or anything. So we left that all to you. When
But
you-
no check should be issued until it went through the supervisor.
Exactly, then he should have been looking at their cards when they're sitting in that box right there.
What box?
They're usually.
Everybody's time sheet goes in that box right there.
How do they ever come out though? If he never checks them, how do they not, why are they not in there right now compiling dust?
Because
If
we
he
don't have
never checks
workers.
them.
Well, there's people getting paid. So, okay, anybody else?
My name is Lily Paulson Kennedy. I'm a taxpayer here in Meyer Township. July 23 and 24, 2024, I attended an educational conference about guidelines and protocol for the MTA, which is the Michigan Township Association. This instruction presents processes to utilize and thereby allowing the township to conduct business in an effective and lawful manner. This training is available to all township board members and deputies of such. Informational handouts at the conference are also put on the line for accessing for additional information. The bulk of the responsibility does lie within the scope of the township clerk position, but it does require the clerk and the treasurer working very closely together to ensure all accounts are reconciled and the complete financial picture is presented to the entire board. There are multiple areas that our township is not complying with according to the MTA statutory duties and guidelines. Appropriate financial information is not being presented every month. Accounts payable as well as accounts receivable information should be provided every month. A financial overview that should be distributed at least twice a year in order to be able to construct a comprehensive budget is not being made available to the board. Taxes are not being dispersed according to the guidelines. Tax monies being presented to the county are not balanced appropriately, thereby creating much more work for them at the county. Multiple concerns with resident tax payment checks not being deposited promptly and residents not being provided with receipts of payment are a couple of the complaints we are hearing. Rough draft of the minutes of the meetings are to be available for the public within 8 days after a meeting. Approved minutes should be posted a minimum of 5 days after the meeting at which they have been approved. These would include approved and/or corrected minutes. On March 28, 2024, both the clerk, Chad Knodel, and the treasurer, Cheryl Weary, signed an affidavit that they have received a listing of the statutory duties and agreed to follow such. However, there have been no changes in the manner in which business is being conducted. Doing things the way we've always done them is exactly why we are in the situation of the audit by the state of Michigan. Appropriate accounting and business procedures are mandatory rather than an option. Now, I will share with you, I've been contacted by a minimum of 14 township residents since the July 17th meeting with a variety of concerns. Number one, why aren't my FOIA requests to the township clerk and treasurer being responded to in a timely manner? Why isn't the grass and the weeds around the community center kept mowed? Why is there dead debris all over the outside of the community center building? Why didn't I receive my absentee ballots for voting? And one individual had specific complaint said, in spite of a personal contact and request after Wildwood with the clerk. Why do we have board members telling us they can do whatever they want because they're on the board? Why do some board members allow some folks to only camp for 2 weeks and others stay for well over a month? Why are board members alluding to the fact that individuals performing work duties such as cemetery and sewer duties are, quote, their employees? Why are board members using a township fire truck to wash their personal equipment? Why are board members questioning, why do I have to use the mileage log in the township truck? Why was there no notification regarding the nonpartisan voting option? Why wasn't there a time scheduled by the clerk to have petitions turned in? Why were we given incorrect information by the clerk regarding the process of returning petitions? Why do we have to go to specific individuals to obtain certified township information? Why isn't this information retained in the township files where the law says it should be? Why aren't my calls to the township office returned?
So do we have a meeting protocol or don't we?
Can I,
It's not,
3 minutes are up.
have it over my 3 minutes?
you can't do that.
No.
Were you
Why
trying
can't
that?
we do that?
I wasn't, sorry. But we haven't been doing it, so.
Well, you know what? It's all in writing back there. You're welcome to pick up a copy.
I have a copy.
Okay,
You have a copy.
and I encourage people to come into the meeting and voice their concern, and you know what? They're concerned about retaliation. I don't want my mailbox demolished, I don't want my lawn torn up, I don't want the windshield smashed out of my car, I don't want my truck gouged out. We're gonna do it that.
Thank you for your input.
So anyway, any other public comment? Nobody? Township board comment? On that one meeting on YouTube, we hit 2,500 on that meeting when you told Willie you punch him in the nose, you know?
Why are we starting from
How much?
that? Yeah.
How
Leave
many?
it.
You weren't told that.
2005, I think, was the
Yeah,
last time I checked. So we should get a plaque, you know? We get a record. Anyway, I saw a bear go into your sister's yard, cub bear, this afternoon.
A cup?
Yep,
Really?
he ran in the swamp.
I'll tell her to be careful.
Yep. So watch out. Be aware of the bear.
I'll make a motion.
So, board, and nobody got a board comment? Nobody? Okay, we'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
One's never done that.
Yeah. Where's your proof? You got it? Really?
I have a copy of
He's got cameras over there too, he knows when those trucks leave. He'll tell you, I've never used it to watch anything.
The lady that lives above, behind me,
Get up a little earlier in the morning.
So I see, but then they move this
funny that the person that owns our name doesn't want to follow it.
I mean, I see the license plate on that, and so I don't know what's
That's what she's saying on that.
We got $100,000 to worry
Well, they're no cool about the meeting. There's not no
Well, I
meeting.
let them share. And then people were, somebody talking, they're waiting, hey, 2 minutes is up. I mean, that's not,
Yeah, no,